stream, and I think we're gonna play with some meshes today. Just gonna goof around a little teeny bit with Chroma Doris, just because I was talking about it today. So we're gonna make some mesh columns, I believe, today. So let's type in Grasshopper, get that loaded up. I'm gonna type in rectangle. Just give us some kind of starting geometry. Okay, let's see what units we are in real quick. We're in meters. Okay, so I'm going to type in plane just to give ourselves a surface to kind of work with. Perfect. And then we're going to put those rectangles on some points here. So we're going to populate the geometry of that surface we just made. I'm going to give it some dimension. For now, I'm going to just type in 15 period and go from here to here. Perfect. And I might make it just a little bit bigger, just like so. And then I'm going to reduce the number of points and then just do 15 again. And straighten those up just a little bit, just like so. And then from here, we're going to put these rectangles on. Just like that. And later on we might want to vary the dimension of these, but for now it's good enough. Right. I might lower the number of them again, and then we can make our reference plane here a little bit smaller. Perfect. And then I'm going to give this rectangle some dimensions, so I'm going to type in 5 period. So that goes in the X and the Y, just like so. And just make it a little bit smaller, semi-square for now. And then from here, I'm going to do the same thing, only I'm going to lift them up. And I'm going to type in XYZ to create a point. Put it on our beginning plane. And then we can reuse some of the numbers. So I'm going to put the number of points up to 10 again. And then from here in our Z direction, I want to lift this next plane up. So I'm going to type in 7 period, just to have some height on it. So we're maintaining all this the same. Just bring it up just a little bit. And from here, I'm going to straighten all these out. And then our beginning plane for the top portion, I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger. Just like so. And just straighten it out. I kind of want this one to be centered with the beginning point. So to do that, we're going to go back just one more step. And we're going to take those planes and we can take out our constructed point. I'm going to type in area, click it into our plane really quickly, and then I'm going to orient it. Got to type in orient again. So we're going to orient that geometry from that center back to the center of here. And then from here, we can start to move it up. Actually, we can use that point again so we have some lift off it. And then for our beginning one that we started with, I'm going to do the exact same thing, just put the area to there, orient, and then I'm going to unplug the B from our constructed point. And then that'll line everything up so it's right in the center. Okay, and then our oriented geometry, we're going to plug into the populate geo once again, just like that. And we're back to where we were. Now I'm going to hide everything except for our rectangles for now. And then the top rectangles I'm going to make bigger. Just like so. All right, we might want to change the orientation just like we did previously, but for now, let's just see what we get. Type in loft. Oop. We have to graph these. Not flatten, graft. There we go. So we're getting kind of some random columns. Let's just see what happens if we increase the count on one of them. It doesn't really work. Okay, so that's fine. Let's go back to what we had. So now we're getting some pretty cool columns happening in here. Actually, what I'm going to do, let's type in boundary surfaces here. Click it into the rectangles first. We don't need to do a loft. We're actually going to populate these. With some points. So I'm going to delete that loft for now. And then we're going to reduce the number of points, 15 per plane for now. And then we're going to change the seed on one of them. So I'm just going to type in 5. All right. And then from here, I'm going to type in line. We should get some kind of random lines similar to our loft. Okay, I don't know how this will all turn out, but hopefully it'll be something cool. Let's do that so we can add some variations in there once we get there. I'm just going to hide this stuff so we're just sitting with lines for now. Then I'm actually going to bring this top surface up a little teeny bit because it seems a little low. Just like that. And then I downloaded the Chroma Doris plugin, and it's for meshes and isosurfaces. And from here, I'm going to click on Build Isosurface, and before that, we need to do some sample voxels, just like so. And each one of these lines that we just created, we're going to have to divide into points. Get some point data. Supposed to divide the curve just like so. That's quite a few points for now, so I'm going to type in 15 again, and then I'm going to take it down a notch to like 5 just to see and make sure our mesh isn't too crazy right at the beginning. All right, it's looking pretty cool. And we're going to plug these points, and we need to flatten them so we get one singular mesh into the points here, just like so. And then from here, I think we need to do size of it. So I'm going to type in 2 period for now, and that's going to be our voxel sample. And then I believe we need a search rate or effective range is what the name is. I'm going to do 2 period again, and we'll see where it takes us. Okay, so we're getting a box, which is good. And then the B and the D, we need to type into there. And then this is the value of the sample. So I'm going to just do 2 period again, see where we're at. And I think we're already starting to get some meshing happening, which is good. Okay, so from here, I'm just going to start to tweak some of these values till we get some pretty unique meshes happening. Looks like the value needs to be relatively low. And from here, we can start to mess with the effective range. So if we go too far, it might mess up just a little teeny bit, but we're starting to get some cool stuff happening. All right, this looks like getting a little bit more detail based on the voxels that we're searching from. Not too sure about that one, but I wonder if we lower some portions, they'll start to connect a little teeny bit more. All right, now let's bring that up. And so that's getting to be a little bit too much. So from here, maybe we'll bring that up a little bit further. Might want to be careful because it might crash. Like so. Okay. I'm going to bring that a little bit higher than what we had it. Bring that just a little bit lower. that's looking pretty cool for the most part. And then if you have Weaverbird installed, I'm just going to smooth these out just a little bit using Catmull Clark. And then I'm going to hide the ISO surface just to see where we're at. That's looking pretty cool already. And then from here, let's just mess around with our beginning parameters. So, if we wanted more of these little kind of weird mesh columns, basically all we have to do is come up to our count again, maybe add a few more. It's really quick, which is great. Okay, so that's looking pretty weird. And I'm going to bring this up just a little bit. Start messing with the Chroma Doors plugin. Like so. And then let's bring up this value a little bit. And like I said, I'm just kind of testing stuff to make sure something looks cool. So I'll load up Lumion while we're getting ready, or mess around. All right. Then if we bring that lower, it gets crazier and crazier. So I'm going to bring that up just to a mid-level. From here, let's bring that a little bit lower. That's looking pretty wicked. And if I bring up the point count, that'll probably add extra detail to what we're kind of playing with. Exactly. All right. Bring that lower. There we go. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So some kind of weird, distorted stuff happening, which is pretty interesting looking. So if I bake that out, and we just want to see what it looks like in rendered view. Kind of looks like liquid or something. Pretty interesting. Actually, might want to smooth it out a little bit more. So I'm going to type in 2. Get it just a little bit smoother using our Catmull. So that's looking pretty sweet. Very nice. All right. So from here, looks like it's really getting cut off at the top. So we might add kind of a roof structure onto this whole thing based off of our top plane that we oriented originally. So from here, I'm going to turn that layer back on. Yeah, it's getting pretty weird. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to type in bounding box. We're going to play with that mesh here in a little bit, but I just wanted to get a roof structure ready in there. So bounding box, so we're going to bound the whole thing. Then I'm going to deconstruct the B-rep, just like so. Type in item for list item. Then from here, I'm going to click down. It's either going to be 4 or 5 for the actual, it looks like it's 5 for the top. And that'll cover actual structure. We're going to turn off bounding box. Yep, that's looking good. And from here, I'm just going to type in edge, or B-rep edges. That'll give us our outside line. We're going to offset that to give it kind of a knife edge detail for this roof. I'm going to join those curves. Now I'm going to type in offset curve. And then we're in meters, so I'm going to type in 2, so maybe it's an offset of 2. And then I'm going to move it up. Type in move. We're going to give it a vector, Z. Move it up. I'll type in 1.5. Perfect. Move this over to here. That looks like it's a little bit high. So for a knife edge. And then from here, I'm just going to copy and paste that move down once again. I'm actually going to move the offset geometry up just a little teeny bit, 0.1 and 0.2 maybe. Yep. I'm going to loft all these together just like so. So join that, loft that. Okay. And loft the move. That'll give us our angled cut up right there. And then potentially that'll work. And we're going to type in the other move. And from here I'm going to change the loft up into straight. So it looks pretty man-made while the inside looks a little bit organic and crazy. That'll give us our knife edge roof that we're looking for. So that's looking pretty cool. All right, and then from here, I'm just gonna hide this all for now so we can play with the actual mesh geometry. So I'm thinking this is gonna be kind of almost like a lacy structure in here. So from our cat mall, what I'm gonna do is actually, we're gonna go to our Weaverbird tool again. We're gonna go to Weaverbird picture window. Okay. And then from here, Weaverbird picture. We're going to see what that's starting to look like. So I'm going to turn off Twitch showing I'm dropping frames. Okay. Looks like it's 60 frames per second. Okay. All right. So we're going to get kind of this invisible looking weird thing. And so this is going to be kind of our cage that I'm envisioning that's holding all these weird little maybe greenery things on the inside. But first, what I really want to do is I want to offset the ISO mesh first, just a small distance, like 0.25. And then I'm going to repeat, or just click the cat mall in there once again. All right, we might offset just a little bit more. All right, so it's kind of looking like a weird something. And then for the actual distance that we want in between each one of these little frames, I'm going to type in 15 again. So I'm not sure what the number is here. So that looks pretty thick, but it could look really cool. Maybe I'll just go down to 12. So perfect. And then just in case I don't want to crash, so I'm not going to add thickness to that. And then for now, what I'm going to do is actually copy and paste that Cat Mall Clark, plug it back into ISO surface. We're going to turn that back on. So we have some filler on the inside that'll be hopefully some greenery that we'll add in the rendering portion of this. And I believe that's it for the Grasshopper. So kind of completely parametric little structure that we just built in no time. So from here, I'm just going to turn on the layers we're using and then bake them out. Okay, so that's looking pretty cool. Let's see what it looks like rendered. Yeah, it looks really neat. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is actually just build the landscape in which we're going to render this whole thing. And since it seems like stuff isn't touching and I kind of want to seem like it's integrated into the ceiling, I'm just going to pull that roof down just a little teeny bit, just like so. So we get kind of these cool little structures on the inside, which is pretty interesting. All right, and let's just add some materials to this overall thing. So I want this interior structure to actually be some sort of greenery. So I'll change it to grass. This outside structure, I'm gonna just change it to stone for now. We'll change the actual material in Lumion when we get there. The ceiling, I'm gonna make it wood for now. So change that over, and then this knife edge, I'm just gonna leave it as stucco for now and see where that takes us. So I'm looking at the view kind of like this. So it could be really interesting, and I might squish it up. I know this isn't totally parametric now, but just for the frame, because I always render the same resolution for everything. I hope that doesn't take away from it too much. Let's see what the geometry looks like. That might be a little bit too much. We're missing some of the detail, as if it wasn't so squished. Okay, so we'll go with kind of in between. All right, so from here I'm going to type in bounding box, just like so. Click on that box, I'm going to explode it. And then from here I'm going to type in invert. I'm going to lock that mesh so we're not selecting it once we get to that point. And then from here, start to make our little landscape. And so that looks pretty big. And then I'm going to rebuild this surface. And currently I have it at 4. We're going to change it to, let's do 25, 25, 3 degree curve, or surface. Looks like I want to put 5. Let's do 25 so we got nice squares happening. From here I'm going to turn the points on. And then I'm going to go to our select tab up here and click on that paintbrush. We're just going to make a little landscape real quick, kind of circling around everywhere. Bring that up. And unless I had a little detail where potentially some water can come in. Just like so. Maybe it wraps through here. Nice little pond. And what we're going to do from here is just lower that. Okay, and then just to smooth it all out, we're going to type in smooth into Rhino. Just like so. Might hit that a couple times. Nice, so it kind of looks like it's on a little island. I might squeeze it up just a little bit. And then lower it down so we got a little bit more of that mesh popping through. Cool, looking pretty nifty. Okay. All right, now we're just gonna add some materials. So I'm gonna treat this landscape just for now as, let's just do rock. Since Lumion works with name materials, basically we gotta work around different typologies of it. And I'm gonna bring this layer up, and that's gonna be our water layer. So we'll change, just like so. Looking pretty nice, and then I'm gonna hit unlock. And then just so everything loads up nicely and we don't have troubles with materials, I'm gonna type in scale. Make sure this structure isn't super big. So from here, I'm just gonna type in 10 meters. So it was pretty big. So brought that down, and then we're gonna export. And so from here, go over to speed, and Lumion takes collada files. I have one previously saved. And we'll wait for that to go. And from here we can just get our Lumion file set up. All right. Import that file. I've already used that name, so type in something random. Sometimes Lumion's a little sketchy with meshes. Or meshes, sorry. So we'll be patient. Be right back. I am going to get a drink of water. And then, so from here, basically we're just going to click our model in, and then we can start to apply some materials. Like I said, the meshes that we created might be a little bit heavy, so it might take some time to actually change out materials and get things right. But that's already looking really sweet just in basic view. So I'm just going to click on our selection here. And this I might go back and forth with quite a bit, but I don't want to have green everywhere. So I'm going to do a little trick on this, and basically all I'm going to do is make that green layer as clear as glass as I can. So I don't want any reflections on it. I just want it to be almost as if it's not even there. I don't want any internal. I don't want it to be double-sided, and I don't want any glossy, or I do want glossiness apparently. Okay. And then from here, let's see here. Actually, glass won't do it. So we're going to trick Lumion a little teeny bit. So I'm going to change it to plaster. Basically, we're going to turn up the opacity on it completely, so it just goes away. We're going to turn down the glossiness, the reflectivity, and the relief. And then from here, we're going to have foliage. And then basically, we're going to turn the spread up. It should come from the ground up. Add a pattern to it. And then our ground level, it's at 0, 0 right now. So we need to bring that up. We'll be a little bit careful with it. There we go. So now just portions of this mesh have some greenery in it. So you can kind of see what's happening. And I think that'll look really nice. And if we change the spread, some of them will start to pop out. And then let's do a little bit of pattern offsetting. And then let's increase the size of the leaves there. And that looks pretty cool. So it looks kind of like this net of leaves, which I think could be really interesting. The material up here, I'm going to just change the wood. Let's see here. Could look pretty nice. It's a little dark for me. Let's see. I don't know if I'm feeling the wood today, guys. There we go. Oh, it's pretty decent. I'm going to change the reflectivity of that, so it's got a little bit of reflection in there. This white, I'm going to change it to stone. Something like that. Turn the reflectivity up a little bit, put some relief on there. This wood, I'm going to turn the relief up just a little bit. And then that mesh pattern, we're going to render it out, I imagine, a few times. But I want to try to experiment with these types of materials or roofs, or just to give it kind of a different look than kind of that white modeling. So I don't know if red would be cool or not, but I will play with it. A little too dark. I don't know if that's actually looking cool or if it reads. Maybe it is a white render model. Let's see here. Another. That could be pretty cool. I just don't know if it's going to read well. We'll try it for now. Let's change the scale on that for sure, though. Let's tone that down quite a bit. Now it's really big. There we go. It's kind of like a weird tile. Actually, a tile might look pretty cool on here, but we'll try that for now. Okay, and we're going to go to nature. I'm going to do some 3D grass in here. Wild grass, probably going to look the best. From here, I'm going to add some water. Perfect, and clear pond looks pretty nice. That water looks really good. Just so we get a hint of water in the background. And then let's just add some, maybe a person and some shrubbery in the foreground. So from here, let's add some low-lying plants. Ooh, maybe our scale is really far off. We might have to do some faking on this. Yeah, it's pretty far off. Okay, no, that's fine. So we'll just add some, kind of just some plants kind of meandering throughout the foreground. Try to keep it as consistent as can be. I'll decrease the scale on this one to have it go inside. And let's do some cattails maybe. Alright. So too green, but we'll just add maybe a hint of them throughout the scene. Just like so. And the rest, I don't know, maybe the background we just leave kind of blank for now. Yeah, a couple here. These alive cattails, pretty nice. So it kind of looks like a untouched marsh in the scene. Maybe I'll put a big one in there. That's too big. Alright. Maybe we have a dead branch somewhere in here. If I can find him. And that's pretty big, so I'm going to rotate that around. And scale it down just a little bit. Just get a hint of something that was here. Just like so. It's looking pretty cool. Okay. So let's add a person. I'm going to have to scale them definitely. Let's do a lady in here. And a bikini. Do this little hipster woman. Scale her down quite a bit. She's just enjoying the mesh. Perfect. And then I'm going to add some, let's do some birds as usual. I'm going to bring them out over here and then add quite a few of them. It's going to be some oversized pigeons. Two rounds of those. That's quite a few pigeons. Okay. I'm going to grab all those. And we are going to move them over right in the background. So you can kind of see them, but they're out of the way. Not too distracting. We'll just move them up. These birds fly. That might be pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm not too sure about that material for the mesh we created, but let's try something else. Maybe it's a tile. Otherwise, we'll do the basic white. All right, so let's do indoor. Let's go to tiles. I made the scale off. I was trying to make it good. Okay. Blue light might look pretty cool on this. Yeah, maybe. It's black. Black might fade in the distance, and I'm kind of nervous about that. What about this color? I don't know, it's pretty similar to white, but a little bit different. We'll go back. Green might blend away. Yellow might blend because we've got a lot of stuff going on. Might work really well. Make the scale really, really teeny. That might look pretty cool if we turn the reflectivity up just a little bit. There we go. We can actually kind of read it. I wonder if we can change the color map just a little bit. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm going to turn that lady. Oh, it looks weird. Okay. There we go. And I might move this dead branch inward. Just like so. It's going to plant it in the grass and we can actually see it. And this might be a foggy scene, but we'll see when we get there. So now, I'm going to hit the render button for the camera for now. This focal point, I want to get close so we can see the mesh. Yeah. Focal point. Maybe we'll bring it out so we can get in there. The length of this might be a little bit big. Let's go too far away and get those birds super distorted. So this might be one of those kind of cropped images. Just get the picture of it. Try to make it straight as possible as I can. Okay. I'm going to store that camera. Just like so. Go to custom style. I'm going to hit realistic for now. Let's try what real skies looks like. That could be really sweet, right? Just as it is. Get some nice contrast in there. Let's turn the brightness down so we see some clouds happening. Sky brightness, let's turn that down. We'll get kind of a moody shot. Then I'm going to hit render 1. And from here, I'm going to take over like 51. Over right. That's really dark, so we're going to have to brighten that up just slightly. That might be a Photoshop job too. All right, I want to see more of the leaves popping out, because I don't know if we're getting that feel yet. So we might have to, so that's pretty good sun right there. I'm going to go back to our materials again, try to get those leaves to pop out, otherwise we might change the color of them. Okay. All right, so that plaster, let's try to get those leaves popping out a little bit, otherwise we'll make the leaves a little bit smaller just so they look a little bit more in scale. So that's looking pretty cool. They look pretty big in comparison to the lady, so I'm kind of cautious about that. I'd rather increase the spread. What's a different type look like? Oh, it's pretty cool if the leaves went a little bit smaller. There we go, I'm liking that. So maybe that's our color to the scene. Alright, let's try to render that one out. See what it looks like. Still pretty dark. Seems like the sun's not going in our favored direction. Looks like it's really coming over here. So I'll try to get that corrected. Our render preview is not doing a very good job of showing us. Alright, so that's looking better. Hopefully, if not, we'll change it to sun. Try and work with that. That's looking better. Yeah, I like it. So I think that's it. Maybe we can add a dog in the foreground, just for the heck of it. And let's see here. Pets. There's a pooch. We don't need 50 dogs, so I'm going to do a single placement. And that dog is a monster in comparison to that lady. So what I'm going to do is actually rotate him so he's kind of in the foreground. Kind of just scoping around the area. He's in the grass, just like so. Hit our photo button again. That's looking pretty cool. Alright. Might move the camera out just a little bit. That looks pretty sweet. Store that camera. I'm going to hit render. I believe that will be our final render. bulbous looking shape. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm trying to work on time zone, especially for the Twitch stream, but there's only so much you can do. So this was a pretty fun little exercise with some mesh, and thanks for watching. Subscribe, and I'll be back soon. Thank you.